Hello, everyone, and welcome to the FighterHeart podcast, where we interview people who have gone through extreme adversity and came out on top. I'm Joe Rizzo.
I'm Ryan Costello.
I'm Alexander Garcia.
And let's get into it. So, Alex, we interviewed you, and we got a little bit of a story, but now we want to just go a little more in depth.
Cool. Let's do it.
Cool. So tell us where you're from and what got you into... Tell us your FighterHeart story as well, and then how you got there.
Cool. So I was born in Queens, Forest Hills, New York. That's where I started my boxing career. When my career as a boxer began, as a fighter began, and I continued. I originally started boxing because I was being bullied by my first cousin, and after my dad saw that he was bullying me, he decided to take me to the boxing gym, decided to teach me how to defend myself. So went to the boxing gym, started competing, started doing very, very, very well, and for pretty much all my childhood and adolescence, I was competing. Most notably, I won the New York Junior Olympics. And
how old were you then?
I was 16.
16. How young can you? How young are you when you start boxing other people and like knocking them out? You know, like
knocking them
can
out.
You do that when you're like 8 years old, or they don't let you, right?
No. You can knock anybody out as soon as you get in the ring. As soon as you get in the ring, you're pretty much like the goal is to hurt the opponent.
Yeah. So even when you're a very young age, they still have you fight against like kids your age.
No. Well, the thing is, it's as you get older, that's when your serious power develops. That's when your knockout power develops. If 5-year-olds are not going to go in the ring and knock each other out, it's just not going to happen. But a different fighter like Mike Tyson, was 13 and knocking people out. Wow. That's unusual for that age, right? So
I just watched his best knockouts ever. By the way, that's funny.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, yesterday.
Okay.
Insane.
Yeah, no, he had one of the craziest knockouts of all time.
Which one?
For me, it's him against Marvis Frazier, Joe Frazier's son.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. It was like it looked like an execution. Joe Rogan spoke about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One of the most lethal knockouts. But anyways, so I competed all throughout my childhood. We moved to Northport when I was 12. I was an honor roll student. I continued with boxing. I got pretty like isolated in a way, just because I was a new kid in town. But I continued. Since I was doing well in school, I decided to apply to colleges. Originally, the plan was to continue boxing and become an Olympic champion and world champion. But I saw something in myself that developed an interest of mine, and that was my intelligence, pretty much, my ability to write, to think. And I got accepted to the New York University Stern School of Business on a full scholarship. I studied economics and global business, and had a couple internships throughout in the business school, and I got an offer after college from a major bank. Just decided to pursue my passion again.
You weren't boxing the whole time?
No, in my 4 years, no. But I actually got into a little like scuffle. Actually, 2 scuffles in 2 weeks. 2 scuffles in 2 weeks.
Wow. And
just randomly, like in the street, just like people, just like
picking a fight.
Yeah, with my friends, and then like one of the days after one of those scuffles, I called my dad and I was like, you know what? I think I want to go back to boxing. So, and my dad's like, you don't have the discipline for it. You're partying all the time, this and that. And but I knew I had what it takes. So I turned down an offer from major bank after college, in wealth management, I believe it was. And then, I competed in the New York Daily Golden Gloves in 2016. I graduated in 2015 from school, and I won all 5 fights, including the one at the Barclays Center in 2016. And that was my last fight ever. And I never thought that it was going to be my last fight ever,
And why was it your last fight?
Because I developed a sensitivity to concussions. Didn't know the real origin of it. I later found out that it was related to my neck, craniocervical syndrome. And, I had been breaking up with boxing my whole life since I was 16. And since the last time we spoke, I found out things that I did not know before. So I can tell you now.
What, like you went to the doctor? Or?
No. So, all right. So my sensitivity has been a mystery. Very, very weird. Okay. So, and it's just, for me, it's just trying to solve it, trying to make sense of it, because I feel fine. I feel I'm good. So why am I having this sensitivity? So, I told you guys last time it was related to my neck, but when did the neck injury
occur?
So I had looked at my former tapes when I was 12, right? When I was 12, okay? There's very few tapes I have when I was 8, but when I was 12, I saw myself sparring this kid in Staten Island in the projects, the most ghetto place I've ever seen in New York. Period. Wow. It looked like whatever. It's top fighters there, and I went there. The kid I was sparring was 14. I was 12, and it was a war 2 times in a row. We sparred twice. Very warlike.
Evenly matched.
So, I would say close. Yeah, definitely close. The kid was, the kid was good. And, so I noticed something. I was always taught this style, right? It's a very pro style, right? So you come in high guard, you take punches on your hands, right? Mm-hmm. Coming in, right? A lot of guys had it, like Marlon Starlin, Winky Wright. So they pretty much absorb punches here, right? And that was the style that I was taught. And, it's a very, very good style. Very, very good style. But what I noticed in the sparring in that when I was 12, some of those punches, the thing is, in order to take a punch, right, with like this, to absorb a punch, you must be very, very experienced. You need to know how to be able to clench down on your jaw to make your body as one. But the number one way to avoid damage in boxing is to be away from your opponent, right? So if I placed a pillow on your head, a big pillow, and then I smacked as hard as I could, you would still absorb the impact. Maybe not all of it, but you would still absorb a lot of it. So I saw my I can show you guys, but certain times my neck, was constantly being, being jolted, right? And this was not the only sparring like this, right? So I saw my head. The thing is, I didn't know what I knew about boxing now. I mean, then as I do now.
Yeah.
And I know that impact, especially this, right? Especially on a 12-year-old with a 12-year-old structure and not as developed, structure as a man, right? Mm-hmm. This style coming in and taking punches is for a grown man. Because I guarantee if I put gloves on you and then I have you hold as hard as you could, and I hit, you're like, experienced professionals, like grown men can, but even so, it's still
strenuous.
impact.
Yeah.
It's still impact. And when it's a 12-year-old, a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, that's when it started. That's when my sensitivity started.
So you noticed this before
when I was 15.
Oh wow.
I remember, I was working at some restaurant. I just like feeling like off, and I remember like even one time I sparred my brother when I was in college. I felt like off afterwards, and
did you feel back then that you were more likely to not speak up about it, or
No, I always spoke about it.
Yeah.
I always spoke about like, oh,
did you think it was
I
a
feel
concern?
a little off.
I guess
I
at
feel
that
a little
time.
no. Well,
It was
a concern enough to make me want to do something else.
Yeah.
Go to college.
You were
Right?
So you think that metaphorically was a way for you to just
Yeah,
make
like
a transition, a change, to get
Yeah.
a break from something?
yeah. I mean, not even a break. I just wanted to discover a part of myself that I didn't really like discover yet. Like my English teacher, she was the first one who told me that I belonged in a top university. I'm like, what? Really? Never thought about that. I was always focused on on boxing. And always had the plan mapped out. But I knew that I didn't feel well. So, but like my coach, my dad, because we had these plans, wasn't too fond of the idea. But later on the line, like he saw the the value in it. But I I decided to, like, what, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna go to a top fucking school, and I just I did it, and and then and then I kept returning to boxing after, so it's like a constant like breakup with a girl who makes you who I don't know,
Hurts you.
yeah, sex is good maybe, and excuse me, I don't know if am I
No,
okay.
I think it's
okay,
I think it's all
but but it's not helping you grow,
yeah.
Or hurting you in other ways.
Like a toxic relationship.
Yes. So I kept bringing me back because, damn, this is the only way I know how to climb the ladder all the way to the top. That's the only way I've ever imagined it. So, of course I'm good at a lot of things, but I did not develop the mastery as much as I did in boxing. I didn't stand out as much as boxing. That's because of the hours and hours and hours I just put into it. But I later learned that it's the same thing with anything. So you can. I have those hours under my belt, but now it's time to, same vision, just different goal.
New
World champion.
Yeah,
In a different route, like you said.
Yeah. So now, but now that's the fun part. That's something I probably didn't really, accept and realize until like probably this past year.
So let's get back on the timeline. You, the Barclays, you had your last fight. You won the Golden Gloves, right?
Yeah.
What was the next day like, and did you have a concussion from
No.
that?
No. I actually never had any sort of like bad feelings after fights.
Oh.
It was always sparrings.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Do you train differently during a spar?
So you
than
don't
a
go
fight?
harder
Is
in a
it-
spar, right?
So all right. So look, the old school way of boxing is you go in there and you just take your opponent out, right? You just go to war and take them out, right? That's how it was taught in the 80s. And my dad kind of taught me the same way, and it worked. It worked, but in the process I absorbed a little bit of punishment without knowing, because I had never been like hurt. I've never been wobbled. I've never been knocked out. Never. I never looked hurt in the ring at all. Always stood firm. Never wobbled. Never. So that's the crazy part about it. But the thing is, that's related to my neck. You know what I mean? So it's not like yeah.
Do you think it was adrenaline maybe too?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Oh, for sure. Especially when the adrenaline like wears off. But
Do you feel like you're less sharp when you're sparring than when you're in that match, knowing that are you, is there a different level of intensity, or is it completely the same, like
sparring and fights?
sparring and fights?
Yeah, no, fights are definitely a lot more fast. Definitely a lot more, yeah, definitely a lot more fast. But the thing is, when you spar, you're usually you want to spar people who are better than the people you're gonna fight, right? So when you do that, you raise your chances of winning because the guys you've been sparring are a lot better than the guys you're gonna fight. So, and then when you go to war with them, you could get hit with a couple of good shots. It's as simple as that. Because especially when you like whatever gym I would go to, I would hit them hard.
Yeah.
And when you hit somebody hard, they want to hit you hard back. There was one time I went to this gym in Huntington, and I was sparring this kid, and he didn't have close to as much experience as me, but he was charging. He was trying to land bombs, and I busted up his nose, pretty bad, and then he got out of the ring, and then his friend who I had sparred a couple of times was a heavyweight. I was a middleweight. I'm probably walking around like light heavyweight right now, but so he saw that I pretty much beat up his friend pretty bad, so he got in the ring and he just tried to knock me out that round. He just came at me, just started swinging, just throwing bombs, a heavyweight, and then I'm just pretty much just absorbed, took it. But at that time, I knew well I was a man, right? When when I was a man, I knew how to do it very, very well. But when you're starting out as a kid, it's very, very it's to make your body as one and to be strong enough in your arms and your hands and your fists and your neck and your jaw. All of this needs to be very, very, because it can be done.
Basically.
I mean, not tense up. You want to stay relaxed always, but just make your body one. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's a technique.
But you've definitely seen a lot of top fighters, just hold their ground,
become like a rock.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah.
I guess walk us through from so you decided, when did you say I'm done fighting?
When did you put the gloves down forever?
First spar after the Barclays? First spar?
So in before college, so the first time was before college, and then after the Golden Gloves.
Like your first spar after the gold, because you felt fine after the Golden Gloves.
No. I decided that I'm not going to do it because my very first sparring session out of college, I had some. I don't even know whether to call it a concussion or relate to my neck, but whatever it is, it feels like a fucking concussion.
Symptoms.
Yeah, it feels like a concussion. So, and yeah, so that was my first sparring session right out of college. So I was like, okay, the reason why I had decided to break up with boxing originally is now the symptom is already here, So it wasn't a pleasant welcome, but I was not as sensitive then as I am now, for example. I mean, I don't know. Again, it's a mystery, but all I know that I should not be getting hit anymore, and I don't want to anymore. I've realized the thing about fighting, about boxing. It's a lot like war in a way. Every time you fight, you lose a part of yourself most of the time.
In what way?
In the form of punishment. In the form of like you saw Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder's I hope he's okay. He's okay. But fights like that, fights like even this guy Usman who just got knocked out.
I didn't see it. I saw Fury.
Yeah. But it's very, very taxing on your health.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So I've decided and I've realized that I want to grow my mind. Use my word to help people. you know. As I said, I never really enjoyed like hitting people, you know. So it's kind of like a discovery, you know.
So you're teaching now?
I'm a coach now. I'm a coach. So I'm actually so I work a lot with kids, with people over 30, even senior citizens as well. And the objective is to use my fighter inspired training, mind, body, spirit, training, nutrition, and so forth to help people become the strongest versions of themselves, to basically use my life experiences and teach them what I've learned to at least feel very strong, and which plays a role in how powerfully you show up in every area of your life. So that's what I'm doing now.
You have a gym?
So I do train some clients at my home that has a gym currently, but I'm going to be relocating pretty soon to Miami. So.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Congrats.
Yeah.
What made you choose Miami?
My girlfriend and I have decided on that like over a year ago.
Oh
wow!
Yeah. We just need to change. I've lived in New York my whole life, and a
new challenge.
Yeah. A new challenge. We want to be in an environment that is going to challenge us, and put us amongst people who want more of that. And it's a city on the rise. I love the beach. I love I love that way of life, and I love the fact that it's different than anything I've ever done. So.
Train people on the beach.
Yeah, that too. I'm also building a lot online as well. An online presence. So.
Would you ever do like a master class type?
Oh
of
yeah,
series?
I'm working on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So basically, I'm getting more so into the sector of helping people through information, as opposed to
with their
being
fists.
Exactly. I love boxing. It's taught me so much, but I wanna see something different. I want to act. Or at least try it out. Want to go to acting school. I want to.
What's magnetizing you towards acting?
Just because it interests me. I mean.
You like movies?
Yeah, and I sent my headshots to this Netflix producer, and she got back to me. So it was pretty pretty exciting. But again, you don't know what you're gonna do for the rest of your life. You just gotta know what you want to do now, what you have interest for now, and then it's like going out with a new girl, or and you don't know if you're gonna be with that person for the rest of your life. But you gotta try it. If it interests you, you gotta go on that date, and then keep taking that.
See what happens.
Keep taking that forward. So do I know? But I do love coaching. I love helping people. I don't know where I'm gonna take this, but I also know that I need to grow as well. I have a lot to let go, which I have, and a lot to discover. So I'm just on a journey to discover myself.
Do you still train?
Part.
Do you still train not spar anymore, right? Because you haven't done a fight since the last fight.
Yeah.
But do you still punch the bag and?
For sure. Yeah. Oh, for sure. I literally do the same style of training, probably just a little bit more weights than I would have if I was still competing.
Yeah, just as intense workouts.
I mean, it's not as intense because I'm not working with a coach. I'm not working with my dad. I'm not sparring.
They're not pushing you.
You're not pushing it to
the mental
to
part
the next
is,
level. Yeah. The last time I actually went for it and aimed to turn professional, I was sparring with my assistant coach, named is Sam. I've known him my whole life. And he pushed me to another level when I was hitting the pads. I was working with him one day. It's like going 30 minutes nonstop and just literally putting everything that you got, no rest. And it's cool. That's probably the most intense probably the most intense workout that I've experienced like recently. It's probably that, just because like you just can't stop. It like whether you're tired, it has nothing to do with your ability to not your ability. You just don't have the option. So you need to develop that mentality that you're not going to stop. And it's
FighterHeart.
Yeah, it's literally. You just like, you want to quit? No. It's like, you're tired, okay, but
keep going.
But when you go past that, limit, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm not stopping, and I'm actually doing pretty well, and it's it's gonna hurt.
You're learning a lot from
It's
yourself.
gonna hurt.
Too, yeah.
You have to, you have to get past that threshold.
But if you apply that mental,
Exactly.
to anything else in life, things become simpler. You know?
Yeah. Just make the decision. And again, I feel like my uniqueness, I guess, is just being able to apply that everything that I've learned through boxing, and just trying to create something different, and I don't know what it is that I'm going to leave behind in this world, but I'm doing it every day. I'm just helping people ignite their spark, and telling them the truth, and I've gotten really, really close to God. That's a whole conversation. Like I've never been like a really religious person. I never go to church. I don't go to church. I don't really identify with religion, but I found God through my life experiences, through my concussions, through my struggles, stuff like that. I've experienced a little bit with plant medicine as well, and that's how I found. Well, the first time I found God was when I was praying in my dorm when I was 18. I was just like pretty much just like talking to myself, checking in, asking myself a lot of questions with my family, this and that. I just felt something come up, and I just started crying for like 30 minutes nonstop. And that's when I really I felt like something else. And ever since that point, my relationship with God has just gotten closer and closer and closer. And I just feel, I feel like there's a big absence of God, for sure. Mm-hmm. There's definitely a big absence of God, of purpose, and it has nothing to do with, religion, or, it's literally just yourself, Mm-hmm. And I think that helps people, get the best of themselves. And the reason why I've done everything that I've done was for my my mission, and God's help, with God's help. Yeah. And it's like, I literally feel like I work for him. I don't want to get too spiritual.
Yeah, we could go deep into God. Of
course. Of course. But I feel like my whole aura is, my whole purpose. It's very, very tied into it. But yes.
Well, we're getting the wrap up symbol, but I was gonna say we can talk God.
Yeah, of course. I would
maybe
on
another podcast, of course. We'll hang out and talk about it.
Of course.
But where can people find you on social media?
So they can find me on social media. Instagram, I am Alexander Garcia, and Facebook, it's Alexander Garcia, and LinkedIn as well. Couple of videos up on YouTube. Our last video as well.
For sure.
We'll have it all pop up. Right,
a lot of my fights too.
Steve.
So yeah.
Cool. And you already told us he's going to Miami. We know that. That's what's next.
We're gonna have to go down there. FighterHeart's in Miami.
I'm sure there's a bunch down there. Yeah, there's a bunch of everyone. There's stories everywhere.
Yeah.
So and then I guess we could leave off on a message, right?
Yeah.
So do you have like an overall message for the world? If you had A couple sentences.
For the world, well, that's a big one.
It's fairly big.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world's pretty big.
Yeah.
The country.
Know that we are here for each other and nothing else.
I like that.
I like that.
That's how we end.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex.
That's the
Thanks for
title of
coming
the
on.
podcast.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, man. Thanks for coming
Of course. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
on. Awesome. Everyone have a good night. Keep fighting.